Hello, everybody. So, somebody accused me of being a solipsist this week. Well, they said what I was talking about is solipsism, and I had to respond saying, it's not solipsism. It's really not solipsism. So, in solipsism, you think that you're the only one in existence, and everyone else is a figment of your imagination. And when you get into non-duality and Advaita Vedanta, you do, well, I went through a short phase of considering solipsist ideas that, oh, it's just me here, my consciousness is the only consciousness. And yeah, I did know that officially other people were conscious too, but the pull of my awareness was so strong that I felt these forms that I was seeing were much less real than the actual first-person subjective experience of awareness that I was just discovering. Because before then, I was kind of moving myself around in the world like a puppet. It was somebody, James has to do this tomorrow, and James has to do this, and James didn't do this well. What an idiot James is. And then with this discovery of your awareness and your being, the here and now, it was really a very powerful feeling. So there was a period when I was maybe I can control the world and things like that, and but it's something that you should avoid. A lot of these teachers tell us it's not solipsism. The reason it's not solipsism is because other minds, okay, there's one big mind, and your mind is a little contraction of that. And other people also have a contraction of the big mind, a limitation of the big mind, and the subjective viewpoint that you are is also looking through them, but it's filtered through a different way. Now, I've had some contact on my channel also with a real solipsist who was arguing against Bernardo Kastrup, saying that Bernardo Kastrup, his theory fails, his analytic idealism, because he presents the idea of other minds existing, explains how they can exist within his framework without first proving that they exist. So there is actually no way to prove that other people exist outside your head. But there is no way to prove that they don't. So you don't really go anywhere. And also, if you decide to be a solipsist, which I strongly recommend you don't, how will you interact with people? You don't think anyone's real? How are you going to treat people? In Advaita Vedanta, in Non-Duality and Idealism, the types that I'm talking about, other people are also expressions of you. They are you. Looking out of their eyes, it's you too. You hurt them, and it's you that gets hurt. So this and even more, it's, if there are gods, if God exists as a, God with form, of course God, the ground of being, does exist because existence itself is what God is, Sat Chit Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. But whether the, God with form exists, it's also them. You're hurting them when you hurt other people in Advaita Vedanta or non-duality. So it's the more you go into it, the more you see that we share our being with these people. Now, with solipsism, it's the opposite. You see that I'm the only one here. Nobody else can prove that I'm not. And when people just look at me like I'm mad when I tell them they don't exist, it doesn't really matter because they're not real anyway. I created them with my mind. So solipsism is not something you should get into. Try to avoid it. Try to, when you get insights and you understand, you see this divinity of yourself, the divinity within. Remember that the divinity is everywhere as well. if you're stuck with an explanation for how this happens, you can quickly give an analogy of, if you imagine there's space is conscious, so the space is conscious, and you have a glass, and the glass has a certain shape, and that certain shape, the consciousness that's inside the glass sees out through the glass, so it's got color or a certain form. And as you move it around through the consciousness, because the consciousness is everywhere, it has some continuity. Even though it's technically moving through different parts of the consciousness, there is a continuity. The thing inside the glass, which is making memories and things, just sees continuity. Now, if you put another glass in the same space, it immediately has a second viewpoint. Because the glass is another restriction. So as soon as there's another restriction, there's another viewpoint. Now, the restriction within this glass is different shape, it's different color, different size. It will see differently. But as you move it, there will also be continuity. So it's moving through the space. It's not the air, maybe moves with the glass, but the glass is moved through the space. Now, you can actually swap the glasses. So the consciousness here is now looking out of the other glass. That was here before, and vice versa. So it's really the same consciousness looking out of each glass. So we can see that this could be happening in life. Now, there is a limitation to the analogy, of course, because all analogies, metaphors, only go so far. And the one here is that the fact that it's moving through space. Consciousness is outside space and time. It looks through the mind, and the mind imposes space and time. So that's the limit to the analogy. It's not something you move through. There are no parts of consciousness. There is just one consciousness. And consciousness itself, the subject itself, is undivided, unseparated, and it's you. It's the person that's watching this video right now, sitting wherever you're sitting. So, hopefully not being a solipsist. So I hope I explain that clearly, and why solipsism is not a good idea. You may feel you want to explore it for a while, see how that goes. So good luck, and thank you for watching the video. Goodbye.